Hi, welcome to my channel, Warbow KTB Archery. Today I've got the Cheonjigung, 60 pounds, 32, sorry, 78, 79 pounds at 32 inches. Brace height is about 5.5 inches. Um, and I'm going to do a bit of practice to see if I can change um, my full draw anchor points. In the past, well, I've been drawing, and you can see this on my video, especially my shorts. Well, I end up in this kind of similar position. So I've been aiming. I've been trying to keep the arrow close to my eyes, so that it's easy for accuracy. And my draw elbow is always quite high. And one thing that I've noticed, especially as I've been going up in draw weight, is that this position hurts with heavier bows, and also it doesn't allow you to get correct alignment. So on the pros, it's easier to aim because your arrow is closer to your eye, and that means that you'd need less. It's more intuitive in the way that you shoot, and it's easier to aim. On the minor side, it can create an injury, and I can feel strain on the top of my on this muscle here on my shoulder, that I don't feel when it's lower down. So my objective for this session is to try and get to a position where I can shoot under my chin. So my arms are parallel. Are parallel with the arrow. My elbow is down, and what this does, and you see a lot of Korean archers do this. What this does is allow you to expand further. So if you look at my hand, I'm getting like a few more inches off draw. It's also moving the arrow closer to my chest, so it's underneath my chin, which, on this side, it means that it's getting a few inches further in. So from being under my chin, I'm aligning the arrow more straight to the target. And it also means that my elbow, if you look at it this way, so from here to here, so it means that my elbow is aligned with my back, with my shoulder blades, and with my other hand. So it means that I'm holding the whole weight of the bow through my shoulder blades, through my skeletal structure, and it allows you to sort of hold a heavier bow easier than just with your muscles and tendons. So that is my objective for today, to try and end up sort of into a more kind of T shape, rather than having a high elbow, having a lower elbow, pushing it back further into my back, and try and see whether I can get some accuracy with it. Because the flip side is that the further back I go, the less, the harder it'll be to aim. So I'm going to have to sort of rethink how I aim to shoot. So without further ado, oh god, these knocks are a bit tight on this string. The string's like super thick. So these are my 33-inch arrows. This bow is good for 32, 33, might be a bit of a stretch, but I'd rather have a longer arrow than a shorter one in case I accidentally overdraw. So I'm going to go with this, although I'm not intending to draw it 100%. So let me stand a bit further back, and let's try drawing this. And the objective is to sort of come to here. So I need to remember to come down. I'm still a bit high. I'm finding the strings kind of is a limiting factor because I can't get it further down there with a string. That shot was just slightly above the bottle, so not too bad. Try again. Try that one. These are 32-inch, so hopefully, and these nuts are just too tight for this string. I got these nocks for the heavier bows, and they have got thicker strings, but now I'm finding the struggle with a thick string, so I'm kind of yeah, it's not great. It's okay on the Monarch. The Monarch has got, you know, a thinner string. I think it's about 20 strands. This one's 28, so that extra 8 strands is causing trouble for these nocks. Try again. Oh, that felt a bit better. With less cant on the bow, it frees up that resistance from the string. Try again. Again, it was close to the bottle, just to the left. That's close to my first shot. I didn't really see. I didn't get a chance to look at the camera on that one, so I can't see how I did. See if I stand a bit straighter to the target, whether that helps with a rotation as well. That's the thing, there's too many variables. Doing your footwork, you know, the twisting of the torso, the angle. That's sorry, and that's another difference in with Western archery versus Korean archery. In Korean archery, shooting 145 meters, you see everybody hands up, anchor below the chin, behind the left ear or by the shoulder, hand up, and they shoot this distance, set distance, you know, all the time. They might adjust for the different strength of the bow or the weight of the arrow, but generally, you know, this is the position that they shoot long distance. In the West, you end up people shooting, you know, up to here, and then they start doing all this pivoting at the waist. And I think in Ulsan in 2025 in the World Cup, I had a look, and you could see some of the some archers, you know, adopting sort of a full draw and then sort of pivoting up, you know, Western style to try and to reach that distance. So what I do is not strictly Korean archery, because I'm not shooting 145 meters. I'm shooting short distance, but I'm not doing all this pivoting business. So if I did it properly, I'd be up there and then here to shoot, and then my elbow will still be up. So that means, so maybe I should try that. Okay, let's try that. So kinking in. Oh, I felt a bit weird. I'm going to have to practice that a lot more. Right, let's try the slightly faster arrow. These are a lot lighter. But again, close to the bottle, not too far. Let's try these ones. These are my micro arrows, 300 grain, 300 spine. And that hit the bottle, so that flew quite nicely. I'm going to retrieve and then try a bit more. Let's try a bit more shooting again. Trying to lower the anchor. Too bad. That hit the bottle. Try bamboo. Bamboos are shorter, so I might not be able to get all the way back. Quite nicely. Well, let's try one of these warbow ones. Christ. Knocks don't fit a string. Try the micro. I think it might take a while before I get used to a lower kind of position, but I think it's worth trying. Oh, and that hit the bottle properly. Let's have a look. So in terms of accuracy, I don't think that lowering my shoulder is affecting anything. Oops. So I don't think it still feels natural. So I had a few that were more or less on the same line as the bottle. The stick would have been here, and then it kind of got hit and it went sideways a bit. So the bottle would have been like there or something. I'll get it out. That way. So far happy with that. I'm going to practice a bit more, just trying to lower the shoulder. It does feel better, and especially with a heavy bow. I think the first time I felt that was with the 85 YMG. And it was really bizarre because I was drawing, and then suddenly out of nowhere I just felt my elbow just, go back a bit with a completely different, I was under strain, but I could still just find that little movement. And that just seemed to feel like the bow lost a lot of weight when I did that, because I was holding it with my shoulders and my back. So I've been trying to go back to that feeling that I had, I think it was back in December or something. So I'm going to practice a bit more and see over time whether I can just get to a newer position with a lower anchor. The one thing that's been distracting is the string hitting my chest, because as I get lower, the angle of the string gets steeper, and then it feels there. But taking a bit of torque cant out kind of helps with that. So there's a lot of things to adjust here. It's not just simply lowering my arm a bit more. But so far so good. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.